Can't Hurt Me. User Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Chapter 1. I Should Have Been a Statistic. Glossy surfaces reflect much more than they reveal. This is the fundamental truth that opens David Goggins' story. On the surface, Williamsville, New York, appeared to be a beautiful, safe community filled with model citizens. The Goggins family seemed well-adjusted, living in a large house with luxury cars and all the trappings of success. But glossy surfaces are deceptive. Behind closed doors, a very different reality was playing out. The Goggins family home was a place of violence and chaos, initiated and sustained by David's father, Trunnis Goggins. Trunnis ran a roller skating rink and engaged in illegal activities while presenting a charming face to the world. At home, he was a tyrant. He treated his family poorly, creating a stressful environment where the children had to hide their bruises and avoid drawing attention to themselves at all costs. The violence was constant and unpredictable, a shadow that loomed over every moment. As a first grader, David struggled to stay awake in school because of the family's grueling nighttime schedule at the rink. The playground provided a brief escape from his reality, but even there, he had to remain vigilant, hiding the physical injuries inflicted by his father. The abusive nature of Trunnis is described in painful detail: his erratic behavior, his infidelities, and the immense emotional toll on David's mother, Jackie. Jackie tried desperately to maintain some semblance of normalcy for her children despite the violence, but she was trapped in the relationship by financial dependence and sheer terror. When you're getting beat consistently, hope evaporates. David learned this lesson young. The dull throbbing of fear and pain was always there as the days and nights bled together into one blurred memory of survival. But there is always a turning point. A particularly violent incident involving Trunnis and Jackie became the catalyst for change. Jackie's desire to escape built until she could no longer contain it. She planned their escape, determined to protect her children from further harm. The escape itself was dangerous and tumultuous. With little more than determination and a newfound credit card that represented a foothold away from Trunnis's control, Jackie loaded her children into a temperamental car and drove them to Indiana. It was a leap into the unknown, but it was a leap toward freedom. In Brazil, Indiana, David faced a new set of challenges. He was the only black kid in a predominantly white school, struggling academically and socially. He resorted to cheating to manage academic pressures, but this strategy only led to further internal conflict. However, he also found support in a dedicated teacher, Sister Catherine, who recognized his potential and committed to helping him catch up. She was a beacon of hope in a landscape still marked by trauma. The effects of David's upbringing were profound and long-lasting. Toxic stress and abuse leave deep scars. But even in the midst of this pain, Goggins emphasizes resilience. He acknowledges the challenges faced by many like him, the at-risk youth who are statistically expected to fail, but he refused to be a statistic. He introduces his first challenge to the reader: identify your own struggles and painful experiences. Write them down. Do not hide from them. Use your past as fuel for success. For him, it was hate over fear, hate for the circumstances, hate for the limitations, hate that could be channeled into the energy required to fight back. He was done hiding from the devil. It was time to confront him. Chapter 2. Truth Hurts. After the escape from his father, a new figure entered David Goggins' life: Wilmoth Irving. Wilmoth brought hope and a sense of stability that had been desperately missing. He became a positive father figure, teaching David basketball skills and helping to build a more positive environment. He supported David's dreams and aspirations, offering a glimpse of what a normal, caring adult relationship could look like. For a time, life began to feel possible. But tragedy struck without warning. Just after Christmas, Wilmoth was murdered. The murder shattered the newfound stability and plunged David and his mother back into a vortex of grief and trauma. The loss was overwhelming. David watched his mother slip back into emotional vacancy as she struggled to cope. He himself was consumed by rage, confusion, and heartbreak. The trauma from his past resurfaced with a vengeance, leading to feelings of isolation and despair. Returning to school, David faced new battles. As one of the only black students in a predominantly white environment, he became a target of racial violence and humiliation. He grappled with feelings of being an outsider, of being judged and hated for something he could not control. He adopted a tough persona to cope, posing as someone he wasn't in an attempt to fit in, or at least survive. But this facade only masked deeper insecurities. The weight of societal prejudice compounded the pain he already carried from his broken home life. Amidst this chaos, a pivotal moment of clarity arrived. Standing before his mirror one day, David had a confrontation with himself. He realized that no one was coming to save him. Not his mother, not Wilmoth's memory, not anyone. It was up to him. This was the birth of the accountability mirror. He began a ritual of self-reflection, standing before that mirror and telling himself the brutal truth. He confronted his weaknesses, his failures, his poor choices. He admitted that he was stopping himself. The truth hurts, but it also heals and empowers. David wrote down his goals and his shortcomings on post-it notes and stuck them to the mirror. Each day, he was forced to look at them, to face the gap between where he was and where he wanted to be. This honesty led him to take responsibility for his life choices. He realized that each insult or dismissive gesture from others could become fuel for the engine revving inside him. He could either let them define him or use them to propel himself. Determined to escape his circumstances, David dedicated himself to transformation. He adopted a rigorous memorization strategy, rewriting notes and committing volumes of information to memory. This discipline allowed him to dramatically improve his reading level and academic performance, ultimately enabling him to pass the ASVAB and earn the opportunity to enlist in the Air Force. His journey underscored the importance of personal responsibility and resilience. He challenges readers to do the same, confront your insecurities and aspirations using the accountability mirror technique. Write down your personal truths and goals. Hold yourself accountable for the changes needed to achieve your desired outcomes. Nobody is coming to save you. The truth is, you are stopping you, and only you can unstop yourself. Chapter 3. The Impossible Task. David Goggins hit a new low. Working the late-night shift as an exterminator for Ecolab, he drove alone through the darkness, restocking rat traps in restaurants. He was nearly 300 pounds, miserable in his marriage and numb to his life. He had accepted a reality that felt like a slow death. He reflected on how far he had fallen since his days in the Air Force, where he had once dreamed of becoming a pararescue member. Now he was a sorry fucking sight, battling self-hatred and depression with every passing mile. They say there's always light at the end of the tunnel, but not once your eyes adjust to the darkness. David's eyes had adjusted. The darkness felt normal, but a seed of discontent still smoldered within him. One morning, watching a documentary about Navy SEALs, that seed caught fire. He saw the Hell Week footage, the men enduring impossible conditions, and something clicked. He wanted that. He wanted to prove that he wasn't just a 300-pound failure. Beneath all the rolls of flesh and layers of failure, that desire still existed. He had previously attempted Air Force pararescue training, but had washed out. His struggles with water confidence during that training haunted him. He remembered the terror during water confidence sessions, feeling constantly out of place, overwhelmed by fear and self-doubt. Despite passing most tasks, he felt like a fraud, and his eventual exit from the program due to the discovery of the sickle cell trait only deepened his sense of failure. He had used the trait as an excuse, a shield against the truth. His mind had quit before his body ever did. Now, watching those SEALs, he realized that not all physical and mental limitations are real. He had a habit of giving up way too soon. He was numb, but he was also angry. He was angry at himself. He had wanted to be big because being big hid the real David Goggins. He had tucked that 175-pound person into 21-inch biceps and a flabby belly, growing a burly mustache to intimidate everyone who saw him. But inside he knew he was a pussy, and that was a haunting feeling. That morning began like any other, but it ended with a decision. He asked himself the question,
What the fuck? I mean, seriously, what the fucking fuck? When was enough truly going to be enough? Was I willing to let my sorry present become a fucked up future?
The answer was no. He decided to take charge of his destiny. He would lose the weight. He would train. He would try out for the SEALs. The impossible task was now his only mission. This chapter serves as a powerful reminder that discomfort is a catalyst for growth. Goggins encourages readers to confront their weaknesses head-on, to step outside their comfort zones and do things they find difficult or uncomfortable. By facing these challenges, you can turn your weaknesses into strengths. The quitting mind is a mental state that allows doubts and fears to dictate actions, convincing you to give up at the first sign of discomfort. Overcoming this mindset requires discipline and a commitment to push through adversity. Setting high standards for yourself fosters a sense of accountability and drives you to strive for excellence. Changing your daily habits can significantly alter your life trajectory. Small, consistent changes lead to substantial results over time, building a foundation for success. Chapter 4. Taking Souls. Hell Week. The very name strikes fear into the hearts of even the toughest recruits. David Goggins arrived at basic underwater demolition/SEAL, BUD/S training, knowing that this was where men were separated from boys. Everything shifted from a relaxed moment to utter chaos as the sound of explosions filled the air and instructors, especially the notorious Psycho Pete, descended upon the recruits. They were driven through rigorous physical exercises under extreme conditions designed to test not just their physical limits, but their mental ones as well. Hell Week's purpose is to break participants down until only a few remain who embody the resilience needed to earn the coveted SEAL trident. Goggins emphasizes that this battle, like most battles we fight in life, would be won or lost in our own minds. It wasn't about physicality alone. Even as cold and exhaustion settled into his bones, he and his boat crew found power in unity and defiance against their instructors. They formed a bond, pushing each other, finding humor in the absurdity of their suffering, and transforming their collective experience into a source of empowerment. Goggins introduces the concept of taking souls. This is the art of gaining a psychological advantage over opponents, including the instructors whose job it was to weed out quitters. It means outlasting them, maintaining focus and strength in the face of extreme adversity, and turning the mental challenges of competition into advantages. He realized that the real battle was within himself. By knowing himself and understanding his adversaries, he could maintain awareness of weaknesses and set high standards for performance. Humor and confidence became weapons to disarm challenges. Throughout Hell Week, the recruits endured surf torture, freezing conditions, and sleep deprivation. They faced internal crises about their dedication. Goggins reveals his thirst for belonging and his need to prove his strength. He led his crew through challenges while consciously countering the mental games played by the instructors. When the question,
Why am I here?
arose amidst the pain, he used it as a test of resolve, a moment to reaffirm his commitment rather than surrender to the urge to quit. Ringing the bell was the symbol of surrender. Each time a recruit quit, they walked to the bell, rang it 3 times, and placed their helmet on the concrete. For Goggins, each ring of the bell represented progress made by those who chose to endure. The victories that emerged from Hell Week were born of collective resilience and defiance. He concluded that enduring intense adversity builds not just physical strength, but mental fortitude. This realization culminated in a feeling of transformation. He had tapped into his true potential. He challenges readers to find excellence in competitive situations, not just to meet expectations, but to exceed them, to take the soul of the challenges they face. The pain is finite. The pride of enduring is forever. Chapter 5. Armored Mind. The journey through BUD/S was a relentless assault on the body and mind. David Goggins reflects on his struggle with severe pain in his knee and a bout of pneumonia that should have sidelined him. But he refused to let pain dictate his future. He adopted a mindset of resilience, pushing through the agony, knowing that time was what he needed. He understood that how you deal with suffering determines who you become. He knew how to push through. He illustrates this mental fortitude through a knot-tying exercise in the pool, a high-stress evolution designed to test recruits under extreme conditions. Facing instructors like Psycho Pete, who pushed him to his limits, Goggins had an epiphany. He realized that his past hardships, the abuse, the racism, the poverty, had not weakened him. They had strengthened him. They had been the ultimate training ground. Instead of seeing himself as the victim of bad circumstance, he began to see his life as a forge that had tempered his spirit. This was the moment he switched his perspective from victim to warrior. He learned that life experience, especially negative experiences, helps callous the mind. By confronting his past traumas, he accepted that his history was not something to hide from, but something to integrate into his identity as a source of strength. This calloused mindset became his most powerful tool, enabling him to withstand the physical and mental challenges at BUD/S. When Psycho Pete got in his face trying to break him, Goggins smiled back. In that smile was a message, "You can't hurt me anymore," and the feeling of being on the edge of a blackout went away. But the struggle was far from over. He faced doubts about continuing, especially after injury and the news of impending fatherhood. The fear of additional failures and the weight of past pains threatened to overwhelm him. The cost of quitting would be lifelong purgatory. He'd be trapped in the knowing that he didn't stay in the fight to the bitter end. He realized that by rejecting his past, he was rejecting himself. And rejecting himself was a form of suicide. Despite overwhelming challenges, Goggins successfully graduated from BUD/S. But the feeling was not pure elation. It was a mix of pride and sadness. He recognized that while he had reached a significant milestone, the journey of self-discovery and overcoming obstacles was far from over. There would always be another mountain. He challenges readers to engage in strategic visualization. This exercise involves creating mental imagery of success while also preparing for potential challenges along the way. You can't prepare for everything, but if you engage in strategic visualization ahead of time, you'll be as prepared as you possibly can be. But visualization alone is not enough. It must be coupled with hard work. Genuine effort leads to real achievement. Through his narrative, Goggins teaches the value of an armored mind, forged through pain, perseverance, and self-acceptance. This is the mindset that primes individuals for life's relentless challenges. Chapter 6. It's not about a trophy. It's funny how humans tend to hatch our most ambitious plans when we're comfortable. David Goggins decided to run the San Diego one-day 24-hour race, a daunting 100-mile challenge with minimal training. He was coming off a high from BUD/S and thought his willpower alone could carry him through. The race started well enough, but as the miles accumulated, the reality of his lack of preparation hit him like a freight train. Wounds opened, dehydration set in, and pain became his constant companion. He was forced to confront his own hubris. But the race was about more than just personal ambition. He was running to honor the memory of fallen teammates from Operation Red Wings, a disastrous mission that resulted in the deaths of several Navy SEALs, including close friends. Their sacrifice gave his suffering a context, a purpose beyond himself. As the pain intensified, he fought despair and reevaluated his purpose. He realized that while honoring his fallen brothers was a noble goal, the race had become something more personal. It was about pushing himself to the absolute limit to see what he was truly made of. When you're comfortable, you can't answer the simple questions that are bound to arise in the heat of battle because you don't even realize they're coming. In the depths of his agony, Goggins reached into what he calls the cookie jar. This is a metaphorical repository of achieved victories and overcome challenges. He reflected on his past accomplishments, losing the weight, surviving BUD/S, and used those memories as fuel. Each memory was a bite of energy. The cookie jar became his energy bank. Whenever the pain got to be too much, he dug into it and took a bite. He realized that he was the reason he still had a chance. His past efforts, his past suffering, had deposited currency into that jar, and now he was withdrawing it at interest. He understood that you don't drop 100 pounds in less than 3 months without losing 5 pounds in a week first. Every small victory builds the reservoir of strength you'll need for the big ones. Ultimately, Goggins completed 101 miles, pushing past his physical and mental limits. The pain he experienced became a badge of honor, leading him to a profound realization about his potential and the extent of human endurance. He challenges readers to create their own cookie jar, reflect on your past victories, both major accomplishments and minor ones. Write them down, document the struggles you've overcome. Create a mental reservoir of strength to draw from during difficult times. By setting ambitious goals and pushing through pain, you can leverage your past successes to fuel new ones. It's not about the trophy at the end. It's about who you become in the process of the struggle. Chapter 7. The Most Powerful Weapon. After his 101-mile run, David Goggins struggled to gain respect in the ultra-running community. When he qualified for the infamous Badwater race, a 135-mile death march through Death Valley, the race organizer, Chris Costman, downplayed his achievement. This dismissal did not discourage Goggins. It fueled him. He engaged in more rigorous training and pursued additional qualifying races, including the brutally challenging Hurt 100 in Hawaii, all while nursing various injuries. The Hurt 100 was a revelation. It pushed him to physical and mental depths he hadn't known existed. He realized that conventional limits are often a mental construct. People give up long before their bodies actually fail. This led him to formulate what he calls the 40% rule. The rule states that when your mind tells you you're done, when you're exhausted and ready to quit, you're actually only at 40% of your true capacity. The remaining 60% is a reserve of untapped potential waiting to be unlocked. Our minds are fucking strong. They are our most powerful weapon, but we have stopped using them. Training for Badwater became an obsession. He engaged in extreme heat training, running in scorching conditions to acclimate his body. He pushed his physical conditioning to new heights, while simultaneously fortifying his mind. He confronted his fears, anticipating the suffering he would face, and reminding himself that he had untapped reserves of strength. He asked himself constantly,
What am I capable of?
At the Badwater race, he faced dehydration, hallucinations, and excruciating pain, but he kept moving. He finished in 5th place, a remarkable achievement, but more importantly, he proved to himself the extent of his capabilities. He learned that there is no finish line in the pursuit of excellence. There is no point at which you arrive and are done. The moment you think you've made it, you've already started to decline. There is no finish line, Goggins. There is no finish line. It is a continuous process of growth, of pushing the limits of your potential in both physical and mental arenas. He challenges readers with removing the governor. This involves gradually pushing past your limits. Start by increasing your physical efforts by 5 to 10% beyond your comfort level. Apply this principle to various life challenges. The mental strength gained from physical challenges translates directly into other areas of life. The struggle against self-imposed limitations is the key to unlocking true potential. You will be made fun of. You will feel insecure. You may not be the best all the time, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you are fighting to access the 60% you've been leaving on the table. Chapter 8. Talent Not Required. David Goggins set his sights on the Ultraman, a 3-day endurance race of almost unimaginable proportions, a 6.2-mile swim, a 261-mile bike ride, and a double marathon, 52.4 miles to finish. He was motivated not only by the personal challenge, but also by a desire to raise money for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation and to inspire his mother, who had endured so much pain in raising him. His preparation was, characteristically, chaotic. He borrowed a bike at the last minute and had logged minimal swim training. He acknowledges his lack of preparation, but he also recognized that talent wasn't required for this sport. It was all about heart and hard work. It delivered relentless challenge after relentless challenge, always demanding more. The swim was a grueling struggle characterized by chafing, nausea, and exhaustion. He questioned his decision to participate but pushed through, adjusting his mindset from winning to simply staying in the fight. He focused on not quitting, on surviving the moment. After a difficult transition to the bike, he began to gain momentum, performing well and climbing to third place. On the final day, during the double marathon, he started strong, driven by adrenaline and the desire to win. But he made a critical strategic error. He went out too fast, and severe fatigue set in. He watched as a competitor, the land shark, passed him, running at a steady, sustainable pace. Goggins finished second, learning a valuable lesson about strategy, preparation, and the importance of evaluating strengths and weaknesses throughout a race. The land shark had maintained his own pace instead of reacting to Goggins's early rush. It was a masterclass in strategic competition. Following his success in endurance racing, Goggins was tasked with recruiting for the Navy SEALs, focusing on inspiring underrepresented communities. He traveled the country, speaking to young people and challenging them to take the hard path toward realizing their potential. He blended speaking engagements with running races, using his physical feats to engage the community and prove that anything was possible with hard work. He emphasizes that the number one excuse he hears from people about why they don't work out as much as they want to is that they don't have time. He calls bullshit on that excuse. If you want to master the mind and remove your governor, you'll have to become addicted to hard work. You have to schedule your time, evaluate your life in its totality, and cut out the waste. He challenges readers to document their daily activities, create a baseline schedule, and then refine it to maximize efficiency while allowing for necessary rest and recovery. Compartmentalization, not multitasking, is the key. The chapter closes with Goggins facing a health crisis, a heart defect discovered as he prepared for another major race. He emphasizes the adaptability required in life's challenges and the mindset necessary to overcome setbacks. You don't let a diagnosis define you. You adapt and you keep fighting. Chapter 9. Uncommon amongst uncommon. David Goggins reflects on his early experiences as a Navy SEAL in 2002, a time of intense training and preparation for combat. He vividly describes the adrenaline-fueled moments and the unique challenges of being part of an elite military unit. He learned quickly that once you're a SEAL, you're not automatically in the circle forever. You are constantly being judged, and the second you are unsafe, whether you're a new guy or a veteran operator, you're out. He emphasizes the importance of continuous training, competition, and leadership. He excelled in physical training and sought knowledge from other military branches, wanting to sponge more knowledge and become more skilled as a special operator. He believed in separating himself even more, in being uncommon amongst the uncommon. When he started winning the morning runs, passing up senior operators, he knew he was on the right track. His journey to Army Ranger School showcased his resilience. Ranger School is a grueling leadership course designed to push soldiers to their physical and mental breaking points. Sleep is brief, food is scarce, and the pressure is immense. But to Goggins, this presented an opportunity to stand apart and lead by example. Whenever you stop to sleep during field tests, rest is brief. But he used those moments to push harder, to stay awake longer, to lead when others were fading. He contrasts the mindset of those satisfied with mediocrity against his own relentless drive to be the best. He saw that many in his platoon began to lose their intensity after achieving SEAL qualification. They became comfortable, but Goggins knew that greatness is not something that if you meet it once it stays with you forever. That shit evaporates like a flash of oil in a hot pan. We are all fighting the same battle. All of us are torn between comfort and performance, between settling for mediocrity or being willing to suffer in order to become our best self all the damn time. As he aimed for the pinnacle of military achievement by attempting to join DevGru, he encountered both racial prejudice and professional setbacks. He was told by a superior that he didn't fit the profile. This could have been a crushing blow. Instead, it became a moment of reflection. He redefined leadership, taking accountability for his expectations and actions. He didn't get his orders for the green team, but instead of quitting, he decided to start at zero again and pursue Delta Force. Starting at zero is a mindset that says, my refrigerator is never full, and it never will be. He denotes the importance of remaining uncommon even in a sea of exceptional individuals. Real success lies in self-discipline, relentless improvement, and unwavering commitment to one's goals and team. He challenges readers to embrace the task of sustaining greatness. Success is fleeting. Ongoing effort is essential to remain at the top among high achievers. To stand out amongst equals, you must consistently pursue greater obstacles, cultivate resilience, and reject complacency. You must continue to grow stronger and more capable every single day. Chapter 10. The Empowerment of Failure. On September 27, 2012, David Goggins aimed to break the world record for pull-ups in a 24-hour period, raising money for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. His goal was 4,020 pull-ups, which he believed was attainable through rigorous preparation. Despite previous setbacks, including heart surgery and a non-combat role in the Navy, he felt ready to tackle this challenge. He recounted his journey back to operational status with Navy SEALs and his experience in Delta selection, where he excelled despite intense competition. Upon deciding to attempt the pull-up record, he trained extensively, focusing on strength and endurance. His routine involved 400 pull-ups daily, with high-volume weekend sessions that could include 1,500 pull-ups in a single day. During the live attempt, he faced significant challenges. The pull-up bar was not as sturdy as he had practiced on, which hindered his performance and led to early fatigue. He managed 2,500 pull-ups before concluding he could not continue, feeling a sense of failure on a grand stage. But instead of succumbing to despair, he regarded this failure as a learning opportunity and initiated deep self-reflection.
To me, a failure is just a stepping stone to future success.
In life, there is no gift as overlooked or inevitable as failure. Goggins detailed the necessity of conducting after-action reports, AARs, a practice from the military that evaluates performance to glean insights from failures. Most wars are won or lost in our own heads, and when things go wrong, that's where the change must start. He recognized his missteps, lack of focus, the detrimental impact of outside distractions, and a failure to prepare for unknown factors like the unstable bar. You can't prepare for unknown factors, but if you have a better pre-game focus, you will likely only have to deal with 1 or 2 rather than 10. He vowed to prepare more effectively for his next attempt, analyzing every aspect of his training and execution. He brainstormed everything that went well, because in every failure a lot of good things will have happened, and we must acknowledge them. Then he dissected everything that went wrong. Determined to succeed, Goggins organized another pull-up attempt, refining his strategy, training regimen, and even using protective gear for his hands. On January 19, 2013, he successfully completed 4,021 pull-ups, breaking the record and proving that perseverance and the ability to learn from setbacks can lead to success. In the aftermath, Goggins emphasized that failure is not an end, but a stepping stone to growth. It takes great strength to be vulnerable enough to put your ass on the line, in public, and work toward a dream that feels like it's slipping away. He encouraged readers to embrace their failures, learn from them, and continually strive for their goals. Success is defined not by accolades or public recognition, but through personal achievement and resilience. He challenges readers to reflect on recent failures, write a detailed report on what went well and what can be improved, and use that knowledge to tackle future challenges. Don't shy away from setbacks. Use them as fuel. Chapter 11. What if? In the lead-up to the Badwater race in 2014, David Goggins found himself in a physical and mental war unlike any he had fought before. Despite feeling over the edge in terms of health, he reflected on overcoming his past battles and how they had shaped his identity. Due to changes in the course, he found himself 11 pounds over his usual race weight, raising concerns for his performance. He had experienced a triumphant win at the Frozen Otter 100K, fighting through pain and harsh conditions, but now his body was rebelling. He battled severe fatigue and health issues, experiencing dizziness, muscle spasms, and exhaustion that prompted him to seek medical attention. The diagnosis was Addison's disease, a condition where the adrenal glands do not produce enough hormones. It was a bombshell that threatened to derail everything, but Goggins did not see it as an end. He saw it as another obstacle to be managed. He reflected on his struggles with past traumas, ultimately coming to terms with his pain not as an adversary, but as a source of strength and motivation. Lying in bed, battling serious health issues, Goggins underwent a moment of catharsis. He reflected on his accomplishments, on the journey from the abused child in Williamsville to the man he had become. He understood that he was not meant to be this person. He had to fight himself at every turn. His destroyed body was his biggest trophy. It was the physical manifestation of every battle won, every limit surpassed. Faced with debilitating pain, he discovered that stretching could alleviate his suffering. This led to a new obsession with flexibility and physical health. He learned to listen to his body and seek holistic approaches over traditional medical advice. Recovery was not just about physical health, but about mental resilience and determination. He retired from the military as a chief in the Navy, transitioning into new roles and setting new physical challenges for himself, including wildland firefighting. He remained focused on staying physically active and pursuing ultra-running titles. Through it all, he maintained that the question, "What if?" fuels his passions and ambitions.
What if is an exquisite fuck you to anyone who has ever doubted your greatness or stood in your way.
The most important conversations you'll ever have are the ones you'll have with yourself. Pain unlocks a secret doorway in the mind, one that leads to either complete surrender or boundless self-discovery. In response to pain, most of us are programmed to seek comfort as a way to numb it out and cushion the blows. Goggins chose the other path. He chose to walk through that doorway. He emphasizes the power of self-inquiry. By asking, "What if?" we can break free from self-imposed limitations and achieve greatness, pushing against societal norms and expectations.
What if you could do more? What if you haven't even scratched the surface of your potential? What if everything you've been told about your limits is a lie?
These are the questions that drove David Goggins. These are the questions that can drive you.